You're watching TRTS Clips, a clip-sized content playlist that encloses experiences and stories of some of the most amazing, intellectually sound people from different walks of life. You enjoy this particular clip and don't forget to check out the entire playlist. If you like it, please support us by sharing it. Now, without further ado, the guest is all yours.
As you mentioned that entering as an investor into the startup world is easy, but getting out with head high held is tough. Could you just elaborate that and explain like why is it so, and why is it being so fancy becoming an angel investor nowadays, even if you don't have that knowledge? Why people are doing like, because if we see it is not good for them as well as for the company in which they are investing. But why is this culture being so fancied upon in the current scenario?
Okay, good question. So I think the entry and exit, why the situation varies, is because the exit point is basically decided on the fate of the company, how the company performs going forward. So if the company is really successful, if the entrepreneur, if the startup is able to do really well in business and get the next round of funding, get the next set of investors to come on board, to get an exit for the angel investor, it should not be a big deal. But it doesn't happen all the time. If the startup is not able to do well, getting the next round of funding gets difficult, and the subsequent journey becomes much more difficult. Many times the startup reach out to the same angel investor and ask for a follow-on round, and many angel investors are not very comfortable because they already are worried about their first tranche which they had invested in the company, and the second tranche can become more difficult. So I think depending on the nature of business, depending on the ecosystem, a situation like COVID is unprecedented. Many startups have folded up just because they were not able to sustain themselves for 6 months of no business under the lockdown. And it's not easy. A lot of people have gone through tough times, but even without Corona, tough times can come up, right? I mean, you visualize a business model and it just did not fly beyond a particular point. Some government regulations came in, some big competition came in, and they wiped out your market. So all these scenarios are the likely scenarios where the entrepreneur and the startup might have to fold up, which means the angel investor will not get his original money back. Forget about getting any side. Now, to answer your second question in terms of why it's become very attractive, why people who don't understand angel investment are also coming in, I think it's got to do with the media. Media has created a lot of hype around, Amitabh Bachchan has invested in so-and-so startup, Deepika Padukone has invested in so-and-so startup, real estate companies are investing in startup, people who invested in gold are investing in startup. So media has been sharing a lot of stories about how unusual category of people are now becoming angel investors. And I think, then people get a FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. And they feel, if we don't invest, then we'll probably be missing out on something like that. So let's dabble around it and let's accept it. There are a lot of people who have loose cash lying around, in the sense spare cash, which they're not investing anywhere, and they can probably quote unquote afford to lose, afford to lose in the sense like they can take a bet on it. Nobody would like to lose money, but people can take a bet on it and say, if I can get 5x out of this money in 2 years, it's far higher than what any of the other asset classes would give me. Exactly. So I think the unattractiveness of the other asset classes, like before March, the stock market was in a pretty bad shape. March had seen a major meltdown as far as stock market was concerned. Real estate has been in a bad shape for a very long time. Gold has been shooting up with no letdown in the hike. So, entry point has become difficult. So because there are less attractiveness as far as the other asset classes concerned, I think that's why angel investment has gained some attraction as well. So I think these are the key reasons why more people are actually getting into angel investment.